Alright, so this is a tutorial for Sara's intermediate method. In Sara's beginner method, you created a layer, oriented top four corners, placed the top center, and then finished off the last four centers. It required only a four-move algorithm called a sledge, and you could do sledge y2 sledge to do a U-perm, and you'd use sledge to orient corners, and then U-perm to solve centers. With Sara's intermediate method, again, you're starting off with a layer on the bottom, but you're orienting the corners while placing that top center in one step, and then finishing off L4C as per usual. So you need to know another four-move algorithm, so that's a sledge. Hopefully, as you know, sledge, it changes the orientation of the top four corners, swaps L and R centers, U and F, preserves the B center, and it preserves the bottom layer. A hedge will have the exact same effect on centers, but a slightly different effect on the orientation of corners. So with a sledgehammer, we were turning this corner, then this corner, undoing the first move, undoing the second move. This time around, we'll be turning this corner, then this corner, but again, undoing the first move, undoing the second move. And that's a hedge. So yeah, and there are category 1, category 2, and category 3 cases. So a sledge and a hedge, they're both 4 moves long. Category 1 is a 4-move case, category 2 is an 8-move case, category 3 is a 12-move case. The simplest category 1 case is just when you have pi OLL, meaning all 4 corners are unoriented, and the top color center is touching an unoriented corner, and the face with 2 unoriented corners is on your right, and you do a sledge and it solves it. The other category 1 case is the one that will be solved with just a single hedge. So if you were to do a sledge here, like in Sara's beginner, those 4 corners would be oriented, but that center would remain at the back. Okay, so category 2 cases requiring 8 moves. Again, we have pi OLL. This time the top color center is on top. Now what you want to do is hold the Skewb so that it's in a position where a single sledge would orient the corners, but instead of doing, so that a single hedge will solve the corners. So if you do a sledge, that will change the orientation of the corners, but bring that top color center to the bottom, and then a second sledge will solve the top layer. So again, we've got pi OLL, the center color is on top. You want to hold it so that a single hedge will solve corners, but you're going to do sledge, sledge. Okay. Now the rest of the category 2 cases have 2 unoriented corners, or peanut OLL. I'll show this case first because this is just how you would orient corners in Sara's beginner method. Namely, you would do a sledge there, and that would shoot that center across, and then a sledge there, and that would finish off the top layer. Now this is just the mirror of that case. Now if we were to do sledge here to solve corners, it would leave the top color center on the top there. But instead, we're going to do a hedge on that face, and that will shoot the center over and reduce it to a category 1 case that can be solved with a hedge. So again, peanut OLL, when the center is there attached to that corner, and for these category 2 cases, peanut, or even for the category 3 one actually, I hold it so that the 2 unoriented corners are visible on the left and right of the corner facing me. And so if the center is there, I know I have to do hedge there, then a hedge there. So hedge, hedge. Okay. So now, obviously for these category 2 cases, what it is the peanut OLL, and then the top color center being in either 4 of the last 4 center positions. So in this case, we're holding it here, it's not in any of the faces facing us, but it's to the left of that left unoriented corner. And in that situation, Wait, I'll just try and get the camera to focus. Okay, so yeah, peanut OLL, it's not in either of the front two centers, it's at the left back, so I know I need to do hedge there, then sledge there. So the initial hedge shoots that center over, reduces it to a category 1 case, and I do a sledge. Okay, and I'll just set up the final category 2 case, and it's the mirror of what we just did. So now it's on the right back, and I need to do a sledge there, and then a hedge here, and that'll solve it. So the initial sledge shoots that over, and then a hedge finishes off the layer. So now we just have the category 3 cases. I'll start off with the final peanut case, and that is with the center on top. So if you get peanut and the center is on top, you know it's a category 3 case and it's going to require 12 moves. Anywhere else, it's a category 2 case. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a hedge here, and that will reduce it to this category 2 case, which is very similar to how, well, it reduces it to the case where this is how you'd orient corners in Sara's beginner method anyway. You just do sledge, sledge. So just to repeat that. So if I see this case, I know I've got to do hedge, sledge, sledge. So I'm holding it like this so that those two unoriented corners are facing me. Hedge, sledge, and then sledge. Okay, so the final 2 cases are both pi OLL cases. And okay, so we knew earlier that if the top color center was attached to a single unoriented corner, that could be solved with either a hedge or a sledge. If it was on top, it was a category 2 case, and you can do that with 8 moves. If it's at the back here or here, then it is a category 3 case, and what we're going to do is put the top color center at the back. Now when the face facing us has 2 unoriented corners, we're going to do a hedge on it, then we're going to do sledge, sledge, and the hedge will reduce it again to that peanut OLL with the center there, so we know it's just sledge, sledge. And the final case is again pi OLL. This time the top color center is on the face with 2 unoriented corners. So again, we're putting that top color center to the back. And I can see there's no corner stickers visible there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sledge there, sledge, hedge. And the first sledge turns it into a category 2 peanut case, and then the final one turns it into a category 1 case. Now, for last 4 centers, now for Sara's beginner method, you just use U-perms. If you came across a case like this, where you had no centers, none of L4C is solved, you just did 2 U-perms. If you're going to learn Sara's intermediate, you may as well learn just a move optimal Z perm alg and a H perm alg. You know, it's not as intuitive or short as everything else in the method, but I think it's well worth looking it's well worth one looking L4C in my opinion. So I'm just going to put a link to the alg in the description, and yeah. So, and getting fast at recognizing these cases is a really good idea. A Z-perm has all adjacent colored faces, and you'll also notice if you can only see 2 faces, you'll either be able to see 2 colors from L4C, in this case orange and green, or all 4 colors from L4C, in this case red, orange, blue, green. In a U-perm, if you were to get to the last, if you were to only be able to see the 2 adjacent faces, you can see that we've got the orange center and the orange corner sticker, so only 3 colors are visible. And also you will notice that red is the color that's not visible, so I know that that is the face that is solved, and I can see the orange corner stickers there, so I know that the red face is there and it's solved. And because there are two adjacent faces here, I know the final face is the opposite colored face, and it's going to be green corner stickers with blue center, but that doesn't really matter. All I need to know is it's an opposite face and that that's where I start my U-perm. And so similar deal with Z perm. It's very good to be able to spot very quickly that I can see all four colors from L4C here, and I know that that's where I need to start my Z perm. And even easier to recognize is a H perm, because it's all four sides are opposite faces, and a U perm only has one opposite face. So yeah, so if you spot two opposite faces, you know you have a H perm straight away. That's very easy to recognize. If you spot a solved face in the L4C, you know you have a U perm. That's pretty easy to spot. And if you see the opposite face there, you know you need to start it. The opposite face will always be next to the solved face from the last four centers. So if you could only see that, you'd see an adjacent face and a solved face. The solved face would tell you that it's a U perm. The adjacent face there would tell you that the solved face is there. There's also obviously another adjacent face there, but again, that doesn't really matter. And also, once you learn the H perm alg, you can just start it from anywhere, because all... Oops, that was quite horrible, but anyway. So yeah, so that's the method. It's not 100% necessary to learn optimal algs for H perm and Z perm, but I think it's worthwhile. And considering how simple the rest of the method is, learning those two algs, I don't think that's a very big deal in my opinion. Now, for the purpose of the tutorial, I always used white for the bottom layer and yellow for the top layer. But you should definitely be full color neutral for Skewb. It's a pretty short puzzle, recognition is pretty easy, there's not a lot of pieces. So, you know, if you're comfortable doing white layer, maybe do that for a little bit while you're learning the method, but definitely don't do it for too long, because you pretty much have to be full color neutral for Skewb. The puzzle's just too short, and you need to be able to take advantage of easy scrambles. So hopefully that was pretty clear. Any questions, you can just ask them in the comments and I'll get to them if I can. Thanks for watching.